Speaking of the next item on the agenda, the King David Hotel at 24 News International Affairs correspondent Batya Leventhal is on the ground there. Batya, a massive security operation. We can't really undermine the scope and scale of preparations on the technicalities that such a visit entails. What can you tell us? Jerusalem, to an extent, under siege, more or less.
Right, Ellie, as you mentioned, a huge scope, but we can try and give you a little bit of a piece of it. Just moments before we came live to you, we actually had the head of the Jerusalem Police Division here coming up to us and saying that they are going to be moving all the media teams away from the hotel. And I'm just going to step out of the frame here so that you can see what they've actually done is you can see almost a black curtain that they've put in front of the King David Hotel. Once the U.S. President Joe Biden arrives here, that curtain is going to be drawn so no one can see him besides the security detail that's on the other side of that curtain from a safety protocol. We're also seeing now more security personnel trickling in. The streets directly in front of the King David Hotel is being closed off. As I just mentioned, we are going to end up having to move down the streets as well. For the time being, there is quite a lot of security personnel here, but it's trickling in slowly throughout the hours. I think in the next hour, we are going to see the street completely empty. You can see at the moment that there does seem to be some tourists walking around, but in the coming hours, we will see it being completely shut down with us moved as well.
Well, Batya, on a personal note, in the visit of former President Donald Trump, I was assigned to your position at the King David Hotel, and I was able to find out that the kitchen was asked to specially prepare some burgers for the former president. Any juicy details that you can share with us on, again, this world-renowned hotel, well-versed with high-profile visits, but maybe this visit is a bit different?
Juicy details indeed. What we did manage to find out, there's actually a former I-24 News colleague who's actually working in the King David Hotel, that he's managing all the food situation going on there. He managed to tell us, though, that Joe Biden has requested, or his team has requested, freshly squeezed orange juice, and to import oranges in from Jaffa, right from the port where we have our offices situated. So hopefully you'll see quite a few trucks coming in with the oranges coming here to the King David Hotel. We know that he'll be staying in one of the 3 presidential suites, but in terms of his meals for the evening, we did ask and we were told that unfortunately they cannot disclose that information. Normally this is something that is quite available to the public, but for the time being it seems that the protocol with Biden's visit has very much been changed to a different sort of protocol, more in relation with what's going on with him as well as the teams here in Jerusalem.
Well, literally juicy detail there, from burgers to orange juice. And Batya, before we let you go, on a more serious note, the entire country is somewhat disrupted, happily disrupted perhaps, due to the security arrangements. We know that all the main roads leading to and from Jerusalem were blocked for a main chunk of the day, and tomorrow it's the capital itself that is going to be more or less unavailable for ordinary citizens to move around.
Quite right, Ellie, and we're seeing that now even few hours before Joe Biden has even come to the hotel. There are about 16,000 troops that have been deployed, police that has been deployed to not just Jerusalem but all over where Joe Biden will be traveling. This is quite an interesting fact given that Israel is currently lacking on security personnel and those in the police force. So it does seem that Jerusalem at the moment is like devoid of tourists but has a lot of police force here, and we are going to be seeing more of that in the coming hours. But hopefully in terms of the actual traffic within Jerusalem, from a human traffic perspective, we are going to see people walking around still, just obviously not in the areas where Joe Biden is going to be.
Yes, and obviously, hopefully, let's put it that way, the security arrangements will remain a headache for Jerusalemites, and nothing more serious than that is, of course, throughout the country, the security alert is on its highest level, hoping this visit will go by peacefully. Batya Leventhal, I-24 News International Affairs correspondent, standing by the King David Hotel for us. We will touch base with you later on and look for some more juicy details, if you will.